I'm Nick Dark and I'm the creator of INNATE. This is a short video to just give an introduction of actually what is meditation. There's so much out there right now, and let's just get a little clarity. Thanks, guys. What a beautiful sky. Meditation is innate. It is a natural biological process designed to help you remember who you are. Let me start by just asking you the question, why do you or why would you consider meditating? Is it because we live wildly busy lives full of people that we have relationships with and we have to have relationships with, full of work and things that we need to do and create, full of obligations, things that we need to look after, take care of, and our own inner world workings, thoughts, goals, feelings, development, challenges? That's a lot. And so we meditate in order to find some sense of calm and inner peace, let's say, is a common phrase that people tend to use. Come back to our clear sense of self, clarity, maybe steadiness, or even some use the phrase stillness. And why? Well, that's so that we can rejuvenate and feel ourselves again, so that we can go back out into the foray of life and do everything that we want to do in life. Have fulfillment, fulfill ourselves, express ourselves well, have good relationships, achieve, do, and create all that we would like to do, right? So meditation is a natural drive to rejuvenate, come back to yourself so that you can be yourself fully. It is a biological process designed to help you remember who you are. And how this works is through your nervous system. Your nervous system is responsible for so much. It is responsible for all your data intake, your processing, learning, and healing, your stress levels, your stress responses, your social interactions, your immune function, and also your ability to take action, to go and do out in the world. And we can boil that down to a simple 3-step process. The nervous system works through sensing, taking in information and life, processing, calculating, understanding, learning, deciding, and expressing. The body responds, we say, and we act accordingly. Sense, process, express. And so our nervous system in this manner is constantly wanting us to metabolize life, to continue this process of sensing, processing, and expressing. And that is exactly what is going on in meditation, or exactly what would like to go on in meditation if we would stop trying to obfuscate it and prevent it and block it. How do we do that? Well, there are many meditation lineages, or let's say a lot of mainstream meditation is really about a focused attention practice. It is trying to get you to focus on, let's say, either your breath, or a mantra, or a body scan even, or even nothingness in some cases. But whatever we're trying to do, we're trying to kind of focus our attention. And the general vibe is that if a thought or a feeling comes in, you can acknowledge it, but we just leave it to one side and we just gently bring ourselves back to where we were. It is a focused attention practice. Now that is all very well and good and has its uses, don't get me wrong. But there are several other meditation practices that you are going to need to fully nourish you and support your ability to metabolize life. And so if we look at that focused attention practice and say, well, this is how I want to find that sense of inner peace and clarity and sense of self by just a focused attention practice, so I can focus on just dropping everything else away and kind of feeling that way that I want to feel. That's going kind of against the grain quite heavily of life. You've got all of this activity and knowledge and information and life experience, which is kind of whirring around in here. And then we're sort of like trying to part the sea of that and focus. That's a skill. But I'm going to say that's a skill that was mainly suited for and evolved from thousands of years of meditation practice of monks, essentially, of people who left the idea of work or family or the busyness that you now find yourself in. And that's why that meditation practice really suited them very, very well. But I'm assuming you don't live like that. And so it is quite a task to try and force yourself to clarity by ignoring everything else that's going on. No matter how nicely you ignore it, you're sort of trying to force your way to clarity. And I'm going to say that actually, you're not going to get to clarity by forcing yourself there. You're going to get to clarity by removing the blockers that prevent clarity. Because, as we said at the start, why do we meditate? Because we live in this busy world full of stuff. And what is meditation? It is our nervous system trying to process all this busy stuff. And when you drop into meditation, that's exactly what happens. Thoughts pop in, feelings pop in. That is your nervous system trying to alert you of little life items that have not yet been fully metabolized. And you batting them away is just going to create a backlog. It's like creating a dam, and it's blocking that energy flow within you. And so the goal actually is to find that sense of self through letting yourself cycle through everything that needs to be cycled through. For a lot of you, that's going to sound like, holy shit, that's going to be busy, and I don't know that I want to look at all my thoughts and feelings. Well, then you just have to acknowledge that you're making a decision not to fully metabolize and learn through all of your life experience. Because in order to create mastery and skill, in order to have a fully expanded consciousness, the only way to do that is by learning, is by welcoming all of that content and taking everything that's got to offer. We cannot have expanded consciousness if our consciousness is conditional. I only want to be aware of these things, please. I want to ignore the rest. And maybe you think that actually, that's not what I want from meditation. Meditation, I just want escapism, and then I can just go back and deal with that stuff during the day. So then we get into the nervous system part 2, which is not just about the process itself, but the skill with which you metabolize. So it's not just about removing the blockers, it's also about developing skill so that you can have mastery and do that artfully. Because when we're out and about in the world and we're dealing with those life items, we might be in a little bit of a stress state. We might be busy. And our consciousness might not be sufficiently open and expanded to fully receive the information, sense it, to fully process it, and therefore express accordingly, artfully, skillfully in the moment. Because how much have we developed that skill? That's exactly what meditation time is for. And on top of that, we get to bring that sense of self that you're trying to return to in meditation, remembering who you are, being in your own energy, rooted in it, so that you feel free and potent and happy and capable. You get to learn the skill of bringing that energy to your day-to-day life, so that all those things that you deal with, you can deal with from that place of stillness, of calm, of clarity, of sense of self. So that's the loop. I hope that's made sense, and I hope that you find that useful. So just a final recap as a reminder, meditation is innate. It is a natural biological process designed to help you remember who you are,